Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode on the Growth Over Fear podcast. I'm so excited. We have a wonderful guest that I met actually on Instagram, which is so fun. Hallie, she's a mom of three. She's a competitive endurance mountain biker, and she's a mom mindset coach who helps overwhelmed mothers stop losing themselves in motherhood. After battling postpartum depression, she rebuilt her identity from the ground up. And now she helps other women do the same and other moms. I'm so excited to have you on. Thank you so much for coming on here, Hallie.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yay, this is gonna be so fun. Okay, look, we're gonna dive right in. Okay, so tell me more about your story and who Hallie is and who was she before she was a mom and now being a mom with three kids.
Oh my gosh, that's such a colorful story. um,
And we'll
so
go deeper too, but yeah, just
yeah,
kind of dive in.
for sure, for sure. So me prior to being a mom, I've always been super energetic, super kind of like sassy. And I lost that. I lost a lot of that spark come motherhood. And I didn't really the thing is that like I never really saw it coming. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think with motherhood, you just kind of get thrown into it, right? And um you're tired all the time and you're really like just kind of trying to get through it. And like your body is going through so many changes, your life is going through
Mm-hmm.
so much change. And so you don't really see it, right? And so there just came a point where it was like, I was almost like not just sad, but like angry almost. Cause it was like, who am I? Like I was just really dealing with a lot. And it was heavy. It definitely was heavy. And my husband didn't know how to like really support me either. And I realized that, yeah, motherhood just, it was tough. It was tough. And I felt really jilted in a way because it was like, everyone's supposed to like love motherhood. Like, this is such a blessing. So, like, why doesn't it feel like that?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really tough. But yeah, I pulled myself out of it and I got through it through cycling, which we can dive into too. But what I realized in the end was that like my story, unfortunately, is not novel. It's not unique. It is such a run of the mill story. And so I figured, more moms need to like hear this story and make it more like known because we we need to kind of come together. Like they say it takes a village to raise a baby, but it also takes a village to raise a mom too. Like we really need that. So,
That's so beautiful. I love that you said that. Yeah, the mom also needs a village because you're exactly right. I feel like again, I'm not a mom yet, but I'm surrounded by moms, right? Like all my friends are moms and the clients I work with, and I can understand like how overwhelming it must feel to take care of another human being, right? And to not only your baby and your kids, but also like with your relationship with your husband and like managing all these different things throughout your life is just so much thrown at you.
yeah.
And so, yeah, I love that you said, it really takes other women to come up and talk about these things and be vulnerable and share it because you're not alone. Like, I'm sure many moms are feeling this exact same way. How so what did becoming a mom change most about how you saw yourself?
Oh gosh, I don't know. That is such a crazy question because you stop living for yourself to a certain extent. You know what I mean? It's like you look in the mirror and you're like, I don't even know who I am anymore. I'm a vessel that like created a human being and now like I have to I produce milk to feed
Yeah.
them and like I'm having to get up every 2 hours and then like you truly like and you're so sleep deprived and you look in the mirror and you're like, who is she? Truly, like it is such a wild transformation that you go through. It's beautiful. It's totally beautiful. And what I think is what I'd love to highlight is that like even though like my story was rough, I was absolutely able to like reinvent myself. So like even
Mm,
though like I went from a point of like looking in the mirror, not realizing or recognizing who I am, it was fun to like reinvent yourself. And it's like my story, like that's the most beautiful thing about life, right? Is that like you get to write your own story. You are the author of your own story. You can throw in a plot twist whenever you want. And it's like, when I realized that, it was like, okay, let's go. And
Yes, that's
yeah, and
awesome.
I totally just reinvented myself. And so like truly like the person I am today is not the person I was prior to motherhood. I am someone completely different. A lot of like the same energy, but I am different. I am stronger, I am more resilient, and I think that that all comes from like this unshakable confidence and
Yeah.
self-trust that I've built in myself through these like very like intentional um decisions and showing up for myself every single day. It builds over time. And so yeah, now looking at myself as a mom, I'm like, I can do anything. Like
Anything.
I feel like I got this. Like whatever.
Yeah, I love that. I love your attitude and energy. It's so awesome because, yeah, we need that. We need to come back to you are in the driver's seat and you can take control of your life and make those changes. Not only to, like, when you show up for yourself more, right? You're going to show up as a better mom, show up as a better
Yeah.
wife or, yeah, partner. And so, like, when did you first notice your identity was shifting or potentially like disappearing after motherhood?
So this is so funny because I was moving my office downstairs and I was like, packing everything up and I came across my journal
Mm,
from 2023 and I like opened it up and I'm looking and I just happened to open up to this passage that I was, whatever. And it was a really hard day that day.
mm,
And I think I was reflecting on the fact that like I just felt invisible, like I felt worthless. And I started just in the journal just writing like I am statements, like I am loyal, I am creative, I am an engineer, I am a great mom, I am like all these things. And then at the bottom it said like I deserve to be seen and I am worthy of love. And like I think obviously like I had gotten to that point where it's like I didn't know who I was. Like I just
mm.
felt invisible. I felt like all this labor, so to speak, that I was doing was going unseen. And I think it happens slowly. I do. Like I don't think that the identity loss that moms feel, it doesn't happen overnight. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I
Yeah.
mean? But I do think that like one day you just realize like through this overwhelm and being burnt out and and moms can experience a lot of rage too. And in those moments, then you're like, who I think those are the moments where it's like, who am I? Like
Yeah.
I don't know who I am. You know what I mean? And so I think me writing down all these I am statements and saying I am worthy, that was kind of like a pivotal moment for me to be like, I've lost who I am. I literally
Yeah.
had to write it down on a sheet of paper to like remind myself.
Well, and plus you're so busy, right? Like as a mom, like you're all your time is dedicated to your children and like in your job if you're working and your partner. And so like I can see how common this is of like you lose who you are. Like what do I even like to do? What like who am I? Yeah, like you're saying. What do you feel like is the most common struggle though that mothers are experiencing?
I think it's that like overwhelm for sure. Like
Mm,
having to have that mental load all the time of like schedules, bottles, lunches, and then like a dinner. And the dinner can't just be chicken nuggets 5 days a week, right?
mm-hmm.
So like a new nutritious meal. And then like at the end of the day, and these babies have been crawling over you all day, and
Mm,
you're trying to keep all this stuff straight in your mind. And then like your babies go to bed, and then your partner wants attention. And it's like, swear to God, if you touch me, I'm gonna kill you. But it's just another thing. You know what I mean? Like
yes.
it's another thing you have to do. And like it becomes unfortunately like a chore, like another task on your list.
Mm-hmm.
And that mental load of just that unseen lift that you have to continually go through. Like I think that that is such a every mom
It's
can,
so hard.
yeah,
It's so
it
hard
is.
because it's almost like overstimulation.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
don't do well with that either. Like you're just overstimulated and it doesn't stop. Like it's not like it's just one day gonna stop, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Uh
like, oh, I have all this going on, but anyways, I'm
yeah.
gonna be going.
How old are your kids?
So I actually, okay, so I have a 15-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 2.5-year-old. So big shed.
Oh my gosh. Busy. Busy,
Yes.
busy. Boys or girls?
All girls.
All girls. Oh my
Girl
gosh.
math.
You're raising beautiful, beautiful girls, though. Strong women. That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Why do you think? Okay, so this is another thing I always find is that moms specifically will feel very like guilty for like
Mhm.
wanting more or like, yeah, wanting more for themselves or showing up for themselves, doing things on their own, right? They sometimes feel guilty or shame for like even going to Pilates class or something like that. Um, why, like from your experience, like did you have that feeling? Like, why do you think that was showing up, and how can you kind of work through that?
Oh, totally. So mom guilt is huge. It is like an underpinning, I think, for everybody because you're right. It's like when you are the default parent, all this stuff falls on you and you
Hmm.
feel like you are at the bottom of the totem pole. You are the last person that like needs their needs filled. And so when you do go to a Pilates class or even I don't know, run for a coffee with your
Yeah.
friends, you feel like, well, I should be doing this. There's laundry over here or whatever. You really feel that guilt. But here's the thing is that like you can't pour from an empty cup. So
Hmm.
if you're not filling up your cup or recharging your battery or whatever analogy you want to use, you're going to come back to your family as a shell of yourself. You're going to come back to your family and that rage is going to hit. Or um, you're just going to feel empty. And your kids deserve more than a mom who's just a shell. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of like my big thing is that we need to fill our cups for our kids. Like by rewriting that mental narrative of like, oh, I'm going to do this and like despite my family and like whatever. It's like no, you're doing it for them because you can't come back. You can't just be a mom and just a mom. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yes.
you can come back to your kids and be a whole person and show them that like you have goals and dreams and a personality
Hmm.
and like and me as like a mom of girls, like I don't want to show them that like once you become a mom, life ends. You know what I mean?
It's so
It's so
true.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because like I say it all the time, like if you're giving your like if you're making yourself a priority and like showing up for yourself, filling your cup, whether, with nutrition, good sleep, like exercise, the stuff you can control, you're gonna be able to like be a way better person and like have more energy, be less irritable, have a more stable mood. And I know you brought up rage a few times, right? And I I've never really, obviously, right? Because I'm not a mom, I haven't experienced this, but I could understand how that could come up because you are so like overwhelmed and like something just like triggers you. Where I know you say this a lot, like the spilled milk or like your husband does something wrong and then you just like react and like very reactive. How, yeah, how do you feel like you've experienced rage and do you think it is just from that overwhelm and how do you come back to yourself, you know, in those times?
So the thing about rage is it's nervous system dysregulation. It's like you're in fight or flight, your nervous system thinks you're being chased by a bear when in all reality it is like spilled milk or your baby's teething or whatever. But it's just like your fuse is so short and you just flip your lid, right? And so what I found, and it's what I teach in my program and this and that, is that it's your nervous system and we just have to regulate that. And I think personally, again, what worked for me was cycling, was getting my heart rate up above zone 2 for at least 15 minutes a day. And then that way, like my nervous system regulated and it just kind of came down. And if that milk spilled, I was like, cool, let's go get a rag. Like it's fine. Because I not only had that time away so that I can really be like, I don't have an excuse to freak out because I just
Mm-hmm.
I just did something for myself. It's fine in the grand scheme of things. It's fine. But from a nervous system standpoint, my nervous system was regulated. Like I was able to handle spilled milk or crying or whatever it is because I was able to take that time and regulate. And it's so healing and it's so important. And um yeah, I really think that just getting your heart rate up is like the medicine. Movement is mental medicine
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Oh, 100%. It makes you, yeah, it comes back to yourself. Like, I always say the saying of, like, get out of your head into your body because it's so true. Like, if you are overstimulated stress, no matter what, like you never regret moving your body. You never regret a training session, getting on the bike, going for a walk. Like you always feel lighter afterwards. And it helps, yeah, your nervous system, regulating that. Like that is so huge, especially for women. We're constantly on the sympathetic drive of like fight or flight. Like, and like you're saying, it doesn't matter if the stress is from work or like family or like, yeah, spilled milk, something small. Like your body thinks it's like you're, yeah, running from a bear. Like it perceives it all the same. And I feel like movement, exercise training is a really great tool for nervous system regulation. Is there any other things that have been impactful for you with like coming back to yourself?
For sure. Like I mentioned earlier, like journaling was huge for me. It was, I think that like reflection is so impactful. Also, like I'm a really goal driven person. And I think another thing that moms struggle with is like those mental feedback loops or like those intrusive thoughts. Or like if you are struggling with postpartum depression and anxiety, I think you can have that like negative self-talk and those intrusive thoughts of like, I'm not doing enough, I'm screwing up my baby, I'm, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to like get it out on paper is is so helpful because it gives you distance. And when I'm looking at goals and kind of like being forward thinking in that way, it gets you out of those loops because you're literally looking 6 months down the road or 3 months down the road or even a week. It doesn't really matter as long as you're kind of forcing yourself to be forward thinking. And so, I know some people might have their opinion about vision boards, but I am a huge believer in vision boards. And like, that was really helpful for me is to like, to keep those goals in the forefront. I have my vision board on my fridge and I still use them to this day, even though like I feel like I've had this transformation out of kind of reinventing yourself to like here I am now, but I still use a vision board all the time. I do one every year. I put all my races on there. I put all my goals, what I want as a family, as a person, as I even put like outfits on there. Like I,
Oh,
I
I
love,
love
I
that.
love a vision board. And so I think it's fun. It's creative, which also kind of uses that other side of
Mm-hmm.
your mind. And it's also fun.
It's so fun. I love vision boards. I have one on, yeah, my computer. I used to also make a paper version, but now with like, yeah, I just find it to be easier. I do it on like Canva. But yeah, I
Yeah.
can see how like that would be so helpful because again, you need, yes, you have purpose with like your children and like that's your why, but also in your family. But I think there's so much to be said about like you're constantly evolving, even just as a person. And so to have goals that you're striving for gives you even more of, yeah, you could say motivation or also discipline to like show up for yourself because you have something to work towards. Whether, yeah, that's training or like career driven, it could, I think, I like breaking it up and I think it should be that way, right? Like you have your career goals, you have your family goals, your personal goals, fitness, health, like, because we're constantly evolving. It's not just like, all right, you're done. Like you made it, you're mom now. Like, no, like things like you're gonna up level, right? We have these seasons. You're gonna continue to up level each time. So I love
Yeah.
that. Tell us more like about your endurance, yeah, racing. This was so cool when you told me this. I was like, you are badass. Like,
Thank you.
yeah.
Well, I can tell you the cycling journey has been wild. Because truly, like I've only been biking for like 2.5 years. Like my
Okay.
husband bought me a bike during postpartum, truly like when I was at my lowest. Like I think it was his way of being like, I don't know how to help her. Maybe if I can, he likes biking. And so he was
Okay.
like, maybe if I throw her a bike, she can kind of get out and help her,
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
really didn't know what I was going through. He didn't understand how to help me. And so, yeah, I literally started from zero, falling every which way on the trail. I have so many bumps and scrapes and bruises. It's kind of wild. But again, I like kept showing up for myself. Like I kept getting back up on that bike. And like, I think it really getting that grit, like I think that really helped too. But I realized that I really loved it. Truly, like
Mm-hmm.
when I say I reinvented myself into like this cycling girly, and it's awesome. And I realized that I really liked kind of like the techie, XC kind of like long form endurance race. And so, not to maybe plug the race too hard because I don't think that it needs more clout than it already has. But I, in 2014, supported my husband at the Margie Gessick up in Marquette, Michigan. It's known as like North America's hardest single day mountain biking race. And I supported him through it and saw his struggle and how he overcame such a hard race. And it was just such a beautiful experience that I was like, okay, if I can get into the Margie, I'm going to go full out. And I did get in. And so I was like, okay, like, let's go. Like, I need to start training. And so to train for the Margie for a whole year, I signed up for 9 other mountain biking races, and to kind of benchmark myself, hold myself accountable, keeping this in the forefront of my mind. And yeah, so I started just doing all these races, and come September of 2025, I did the Margie, and I finished under my goal time. It was definitely the hardest thing I have ever done in my life. I like mentally stripped myself down somewhere in those woods. I don't know, found Jesus, came back again. It was wild.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yes. Thank you. It was, and I signed up for it again this year.
Oh, Jesus. Oh my God. Is he doing it too?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. Is it by like age group, or how does it?
So how do they do it? So you can just do like gender.
Oh, okay.
And then it does go by like age gendered. You can kind of like categorize it that way. But yeah. So
how long is it?
So the Margie, okay, so they say it's like there's the Margie 50 and the Margie 100, but it's not 50 and 100 miles. It's like way more than that.
Yeah.
I think, don't quote me, but I think last year's course was actually 58 or 56 miles or something like that. And I'm sure this year's race is going to be a little longer, a little bit more techy or something like that. So
how long did it take you?
It took me, I think, 11 hours and 52 minutes. I wanted to come in under 12 hours, and I did.
That's so insane. Okay, so then what did you eat?
Oh my God. I ate like the gel things. I had like carb drink. I found that like soft pretzels were like my favorite thing.
Nice.
My kids definitely crewed for me, which was like my biggest motivation. Like every single time I pull up to an aid station, I have my 3 girls there. My oldest would come up with the water jug, and I tried to make like these like honey and peanut butter wrap things, and I remember just taking one bite and being like, what? Can't do that.
That is so fun. And that's so cool to have like your daughter's there to watch you and like be inspired by you, and like seeing what it is to be a mom and still have goals and still work hard and like do those races. Like, yeah, your rage, like it's such a great role model. And that's what's so beautiful about like when you are a mom and showing up for yourself, your kids see that. And like how you talk to yourself, how you like are showing up, they see all of that.
Oh yeah. Like kids learn by example, right? Like, and so I am being the example that I want my kids to have. To like, I became like, not to toot my own horn, but like the role model I wanted my kids to have. Like, I'm showing up for myself. I have discipline. I don't give up. Like, I tell my kids all the time, don't give up, even when it gets hard. But it's easy to say that. But like when they literally see you with like, I ripped my pants and I still continued biking. I think I peed myself. Like, and my kids did that. And like, I still kept going. And they're like, so they have no excuse. Because like when they want to give up, I'm like, did I give up at the Margie?
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm going.
I love it. Yeah, and endurance sports specifically, like it's so much more mental, honestly, than it's physical. Like, yes, obviously the physical training, but it's so mental at a certain point. So like, what do you feel like that type of training really taught you as far as mindset?
Oh my gosh. So much. Like, I think that could be a whole podcast in and of itself. Like, I think that like type 2 fun that like endurance sports creates is like, it's all just a exercise in mental fortitude. because you have to like show up even when it's hard, even when it's tired. It's so easy to give up, right? But like you
Mm-hmm.
have to push through. You have to remember your why. Like coming into every race, I have goals that I write down. I have mantras that I write down. I literally write them out
Nice.
and then I tape them on my handlebars. I have like it's and you keep going through those mental mantras. It's like remember your why. You can do hard things. You've prepared for this. And like it's that mental just fortitude. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I have this theory. I have this theory and
Ooh.
I'm curious to get your take on it. I think as we get older, we get better at endurance sports. And I think it's because we've gone through some like mental bullshit that like makes us tougher. You know what I mean? Like maybe we have more of like the grit and like the physical strength or whatever when you're in your 20s, but you haven't gone through the mental, I don't know, the mental strength yet. So like I feel like as like I've seen a lot of women that are 35, 40, like really start to crush it in endurance cycling because
Mm-hmm.
they've gone through that like mental shit.
Yeah.
You know what
No,
I mean?
I like this theory. I think that's so true. I mean, especially if you are someone that is right like driven and ambitious to like work hard and because yeah, I mean the women I know and like even personally with myself it's like that can be such a healthy outlet. Like when you've gone through shit and like want like whether it's trauma or like just yeah, hard stuff in your life, this brings you back. That's what exercise is for me in training. It like brings me back to myself and knowing that I can do hard things. You know, like there's nothing else like it, truly. Like it
Yeah.
really pushes you outside of your comfort zone. I mean, obviously you can get outside your comfort zone, you know, doing even like a podcast or public speaking or stuff like that, but it's so different when it's physical because like it is like pushing you to like this next level that is physically challenging, but it's also like it's both of them, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I totally agree. I feel like there's such a shift, especially now too, of like women, yeah, more middle aged that are like getting more in the gym and like lifting weights. And like, I'd love to see it because I'm like, this is what we need. We need like badass women and moms showing up. It's, yeah, it's really cool to see that. And I think
Yeah.
social media definitely has helped. Yeah.
Oh, I think so too, for sure. Like I think obviously social media has its like drawbacks, but I
Yes.
also do think it has such an amazing way of inspiring and motivating people too. Like you can do anything. You really can.
Yes. Yeah. And that's why yeah, like and that's why I got in, because at first I was going for psychology when I was going to college. And it wasn't until I started like training and doing a lot of training in the gym and doing, you know, YouTube videos back in the day, right? Because that's all we had, and following like fitness routines on there. But that's when like I truly built like my confidence in who I am from the hard stuff I was doing in the gym and like the workouts and the training and hiking. Like hiking was has been a big passion of mine and like there's just it gets you out of your head and like realize how small your problems can be. Like when
Yeah.
you know like when you look at like when you're hiking a mountain you're like, "Oh my god, we're so small in this big world."
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And getting that like fresh air and like
Yes.
I mean, there's also that like chemical component of like you're creating endorphins. Like
Mhm.
you're literally like on a chemical level making yourself happier. So
Yes.
there's always that too.
Yes, which is so good. Okay, so with the how would you like translate this to like motherhood? Okay, so like the endurance principles of like, you know, pushing when it's hard. How would you kind of bring this into motherhood in your daily life?
So I think it just goes back to like filling your cup. Like
Mm,
I think that's one aspect, right? Like I'm doing this thing for me. I train every single day. I'm doing it for me. I'm showing up for me so that I can come back to my kids and be not only like this a woman that they can look up to, but also like I'm filling my cup so that when their cup spills, I'm not losing my cool. You know what I mean? It's I show up so differently and so much more presently when I've had time for myself. Like I think there's some mental component where it's like I did this thing for me. So like
mm,
I'm not going to sit here and like need to check out on my phone while my kid is trying to tell me a story or whatever. I'm present. And I think that really that's a big piece. Also again like just being like the role model for my kids that I want them to have, I think that's huge, is, you know, they need those strong role models and they look up to their parents. And so if I can be what I would want them to emulate, it's like, let's go. And so yeah, like I think, and again, like endurance sports kind of funnels to like everything too. Like you get really intentional with your nutrition, you get really intentional with your sleep schedule, you start to like, when you get up into like doing 9 races a year, 13 races a year, you know, you get really intentional with like your time. And I think those are all also principles that I'm teaching my kids too. It's like, we're not drinking on the weekends. Like I don't drink and whatever. It's like, I'm teaching them these healthy lifestyle habits too. And again, get to be fully present with my kids all throughout all of it. And I think that's amazing.
That's amazing. And it's so beautiful, especially if you are very intentional with the choices you're making and like the habits. Because yeah, your kids see that, but also you can be present. Like, you know, if you're someone, and again, this isn't to like bash people that do drink or, you know, like parents that like to have fun and go, you know, crazy, but there's something to be said about when you're doing a lot of those things or aren't training or aren't, you know, you're getting poor sleep, eating more processed foods, like all these things, like you're gonna not be mentally as strong and be energized to play with your kids and like run after them, you know? So like there's also that component of like, yeah, what type of parent do you want to be? And there, you know, there definitely could be that, you know, balance, but I think like for me, I want to like continue to go all in on my health and my fitness so that I can show up present and calm and grounded. And
Absolutely.
yeah. So how do you manage your time? Okay, because I know that's a big a big problem that, you know, moms are like facing where it comes like, okay, like if I get the workout in the morning, but say they wake up way earlier and then I, you know, then now what? Like how do I get my workout in? So, yeah, any tips there?
Oh my gosh, that's a big question. That could be a
I
podcast in and of itself too. Because it is like you have to, as a mom, ebb and flow. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, your baby might be going through a sleep regression and you might have gotten 5 hours of sleep last night. And so and maybe you're scheduled for a 3 hour ride. Like, what are you gonna do? And that is part of like the balance, like ebb and flow and kind of just roll with the punches. You know what I mean? Like it's really hard. I live by a calendar. I'm not a big like routine. I shouldn't say that. I am. I love routine, but it's in a way that's also really flexible because like I think that when you're too stringent with a routine, I think with motherhood, you're going to be setting yourself up for failure and then getting down on yourself because you're like, I was supposed to do this and I was supposed to do this. And then from noon to 1, I had this. Like, that's not how motherhood works. Your kids have their own ideas and life happens and you can't stick to a stringent routine. But if you have a framework that can still like ebb and flow, I think that like that's where you're going to be most successful. You know what I mean? Like I definitely I'm a big I love food. And so like I love to plan my meals like on a Sunday and make sure that like all the groceries are bought and everything's kind of like organized. That's like a way that I can really like clear out time throughout the week, kind of doing that preparation ahead of time. And like, you know what, like we're in like the 6th season right now. So like my kids are always sick, so they're not sleeping well. And you know, I might not be able to get my training session in because like they didn't nap as long or you know, or they're home from school or whatever it is. And I think like the one thing that I always tell myself is that it's okay. You can fall off one day. It's not going to like totally crush your goals for my, you know, May race or whatever. But just know that you can like get back at it. You know what I mean? Like kind of like trusting the process. You know what I mean? I think that's huge. Another like what I call is like a superpower is habit stacking, like doing multiple things at once. Like I was on a meeting today while I was biking, while I was eating, and like kind of doing all these like stacking things so that like I can fit more into like my lunch hour or whatever, you know?
Yeah. I feel like you kind of have to do that. Yeah, like you have to have it stack and have it be where you can do all the things if you
Yeah.
really need to or like but I like your approach where it's like it's going to ebb and flow and you have to be flexible, but you can still have a routine even if like yeah, like one day's off, it's like can you pivot faster though to get back on track and like still get your workout in. Okay, tomorrow's a new day. Let me, try and fit my cycling session or my training session in. And I always tell moms too, like especially the clients I work with that are have a busy schedule, I'm like, even if you do half the workout in the morning and then half at afternoon, like you're still like something is always better than nothing. And breaking it up is you're still getting that benefit of like still getting it in.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Like, I think last week I was just, it was a really hard training. I think it was my first week that I was doing zone or VO2 max intervals.
Oh,
And I
geez.
was just like gassed the next day. And I was supposed to do something. I don't remember what else, but I was like, I literally can't do this. And so I took a day off. I took a day
Yeah.
off. And then like the next day was like Friday. And I remember that's just kind of my like recovery ride. And I
Mm-hmm.
went back in for intervals. Like I kind of just shifted my days and I got back at it. You know what I mean? Like you can
Nice.
ebb and flow. You don't have to be so stringent all the time.
Mm-hmm. Because then that, like you said, sets you up for failure too. Like then you feel guilty for not doing it the way that you wanted it to be. What's a mindset shift though that you feel like changes everything for overwhelmed moms?
Oh, that's a hard one.
I know. There's probably a lot, but like, yeah, at least one that they could make.
For sure. I think what I see a lot of the moms that I work with, I think the mindset shift that like we work through a lot is like it's a bad moment, it's not a bad life. You know what I mean? I think like we have a tendency to just like spiral
Mm-hmm.
and it like I think kind of like based on like the routine thing too, it's like if one thing falls off, now the whole day is like out of whack and now I'm like running behind and like, I'm not going to be able to do X, Y, and Z. And like, then their bedtime's off and this and that. And like, it can
Mm-hmm.
really spiral. But like, the thing is like, it was just a bad moment. It was like, or like, whatever, you lost your temper. It was a bad moment, but it's not a bad life. You're not ruining your kids. You're not ruining your life. You know what I mean? It's just a bad moment. Take a step, take a breather, go to the bathroom, calm down, splash some water on your face, and get back in the game, girl. Like, it's not a bad life. It's just a bad moment. And like what you do coming back is what really matters.
Mm-hmm.
You're allowed to lose your cool. Like, I'm not saying like I don't lose my cool anymore. I lose my cool more than I like to admit,
Yeah.
but it's what you do after that really is important. Like I love to like sit down with my kids afterwards and just be like, I'm sorry. Mom's human. Like,
Mm.
I know that was a big moment, but like I'm sorry, blah blah blah. And we talk about it. And like I also see that shift in my kids now is that like
Mm.
they have big moments and then they're like, I'm sorry
Aw.
afterwards. Like I didn't mean to like whatever, like throw the toy at Vivian or whatever. Like in that kind of circling back I think is huge and again they learn from example so like
Yes.
you can kind of have these mindset shifts. You're teaching your kids those mindset shifts too,
Mm-hmm.
so
Oh, that's so sweet. Like for them to also like learn from you to be like, I'm sorry, mom, like I did this. Also, Vivian, that's my niece's name. I love that name.
I love that. How's it spelled?
Vivian.
Oh, okay, ours is Vivienne. We had to be a little
Oh,
extra.
I like it. I like it. Extra. We love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, one thing that also came to mind is I love saying like it's not that serious because yeah, we
yeah.
get so caught up in like yeah, one thing rooting everything and it's like it's not that serious. Like let it go, move on because otherwise you're just holding on to that stress and then
Mhm.
like you said it just piles up and then your day you feel like it's okay, it's a bad day when no, it's just a bad moment. So that's cool.
Exactly, just let it go. I think my daughter, my 15-year-old, Gen Z is like, it's not that deep. It's not
Oh, it's
that
not
deep.
that deep. I know all their
That's not.
lingo. Oh my God, I've learned so much from my nieces. I'm like, what? What was the one they just said the other day? Um, oh, body T.
What does that mean?
Body T means like you have like no waist. Like that's yeah, that's what it means. And then like clock it. Does she say clock it?
No, what does that mean?
Oh my God. Okay. maybe it's just my niece's school, their friends. I don't know. Clock it is um, uh, like you got, like you crushed that, like you, I don't know.
Ooh. Like you clocked it?
Yeah.
Like kind of okay.
Like
Yeah,
sassy.
oh, okay. I love that. I can work that into my jargon. I feel so old. I've never felt so old
I
than I have
know.
here.
Yeah, it's so funny. Okay. And then what is, okay, a small daily practice that helps moms reconnect with themselves?
Oh, oh, oh. How do I pick just one? Uh
Or two. Yeah, one
or
or
two.
two.
Or two. Okay. That's okay. So again, I love journaling. I ask my moms to do 3 questions in the morning and three questions at night. And
Ooh,
it's just 3 questions. Like I even have them like on my phone. I'm like,
okay.
I get it, you're a busy mom, or like some of my moms co-sleep. So at night, like you can't have a light on and you're in bed, like to
Yeah, yeah,
reflect
yeah.
on your journal. So like, just like have it on your phone and like whatever, or just like mentally go through the questions.
Mm,
And they're really reflective. So like in the morning, it's kind of like um they're all gratitude based,
okay.
really. And
Nice.
so, like, I think if that's one thing, is like just practicing gratitude. I think in the morning and at night, it have like, if you think of this is the worst, and I have to think of a better analogy, but like prior to gratitude or like prior to doing these like kind of journal prompts, you're like a really squiggly line. And as you continually like practice this gratitude morning and night, your line starts to like be wavy and then it starts to be really straight and like you kind of like feel this like alignment basically.
Mm.
And I need to come up with a better analogy, but that's the only one I
I
can
like
think
it.
of.
I mean, I understand it completely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gratitude
It's
is
just
so
practicing
powerful.
gratitude. Yeah.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, that's gratitude is like my favorite thing to talk about because you can't feel any other emotion when you're in a state of gratitude. Like you can't feel angry because you're looking at all the positive things, being where your feet are. Like, yeah, I love that you use that. And I think, yeah, such a helpful practice for moms, especially at night too. Like even no matter how the day went, you can look for
Yeah.
the blessings. Yeah.
100%. And like, I think you can turn anything that was a negative into a positive.
Mm-hmm.
I really truly believe that. And I think that when you can kind of take a step back, get some perspective, have some gratitude, you can be like, okay, the argument I had with my boss, like I can come back to it tomorrow and kind of circle back around and say like, hey, give some constructive feedback or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I think gratitude really helps with that.
Yeah. Do you also feel like this kind of self-talk, like what role could that play as far as like when motivation is low or like you just feel so depleted? Where can you use that self-talk? And like, is there a phrase that you really like to use or yeah.
I remember my why. That like and like also Jess Sims has a quote that's like you get to move
Mm,
your body. And like I think just having your mantras, like remember your why. Like remember your why and you get to do this. Like those are like my two favorite because like they're kind of blanket statement like for anything. Like
yeah.
they're outside of cycling, and outside of motherhood,
Hmm.
they're for anything. But really like my why is always my kids. It'll always be my kids. Um, yeah, and like when I'm in that 11th hour biking, it's like remember your why. Like why
Yeah.
are you doing this? And it's so fueling and it's so centering. It's like and it puts it into perspective and then you kind of like listen to like your mantra of like you get to. It's like you get to go through motherhood.
Hmm.
You get to breastfeed. Like yeah, you hate this. It's 2 a.m.
Yeah.
You're booed out, you're tired, your husband's snoring over there and it's like ugh, but it's like, you know what? You get to do this. You get to
Yeah.
experience motherhood when it's good, when it's bad, when it's ugly, and it's beautiful. Everything is beautiful if you just rewrite it.
Yes. Yeah. Rewrite the story in your head. Yeah. So
Yep.
true. How do you kind of like navigate this? Because I know you mentioned your husband not really understanding, the hardship that you were going through. Um, what do you feel like is the best approach with that, right? Because there is only so much, like obviously them being supportive, being there for you, but how do you kind of have that communication? Or yeah, what do you think is your insight there?
Oh, that's a tough one. And honestly, like I've always wanted to ask my husband's opinion more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we've definitely had some reflective conversations about it, but I would love to like really sit down with him and like get his take on that time in my life, because we've talked about it a little bit, and we've been together for 13 years. He is truly my best friend. Like,
So cute.
And he knew me, you know, prior to motherhood. Like he knew this fiery, like edgy, crazy girl, like, and he also knew me at my like lowest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's made comments like, you were so sad. Like he's like, I wouldn't even know how to like talk to you. And we never fought. Like obviously every relationship has disagreements and stuff, but we never fought like we did when it was postpartum, because of, again, the rage and stuff like that. And all it really came down to was like, one, it was sleep deprivation, because I think like, both of us were just like so like done, because we're like, I just want to sleep. But like that was definitely part of it. But like it was communication. And I think if I can give moms one, and husbands, because moms might not realize it, you know, that they're going through postpartum depression and anxiety. But like a piece of advice to the husband is to just communicate, just to ask, just to show up. Because I think what happens in motherhood is that in like this stage is like, I think we as women expect the husband to like be showing up in a certain way. And we feel like, oh, we shouldn't have to ask. He should just know. But you know what? They don't just know. And like men are so, I think sometimes so binary, where like women, it's like it's so complex up here. And sometimes they just need to be like, Josh, get a bottle, or like they need a blanket, or like whatever. They just communicate. And like, I think that is, I know that's such an easy thing to say, but it is so true. Or like as the husband, just ask like, hey, do you need socks? Do you need like, oh, you know what I mean? Just asking the basic things, just communicating. Don't take don't assume anything in motherhood.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even have kids yet, and I feel like I have to already do that with my husband, right? Like, because it is like guys are just like that. You have to really, you can't assume. They don't think how we think, and so you really have to, communicate. Like, I need you to do this, or like I need help with this, because it's when we get caught in our head and making those spirals of like, oh, he doesn't care, or he's not, he doesn't understand. Like, we kind of like make this own story in our head without even like communicating to what they're thinking, or like how they're feeling.
Right. Or like they didn't even track it. Like you're almost like having like this like argument in your head with like, oh my God, I can't believe he did this or said this or whatever. And he's not even clocking it, because like it didn't even register for him. So like, but if you bring it up and then he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't think that like, I didn't think it was that deep. You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, I feel so much better now. So yeah.
So communicate. Just, ask for help, both sides. Yeah.
And I know that like some people think that texting can be like negative for communication, but I think if it's done right, you can like, it takes the emotion out of it, like in a good way. You know, like you can kind of be like, let it cool down, let your emotions cool down if you're like in a fight, and like when they go to work or whatever, text it like in, you know, just that way they can read it, and there's like less emotion behind it, so then it's like maybe you can get your point out without getting so like flustered. I think that can be really helpful too.
I can see that for sure, especially because you take the emotion out of it. You're probably thinking more logically, or like are able to communicate a little bit better when we write stuff down. You know, I know texting is you're physically like typing, but like you're still allowing yourself to process what you're saying, so it comes off probably a little bit better or like more clear. Yeah.
You know, I'm not a couple therapist by any means. I have heard some good advice that like sending an email to your husband or vice versa, like when you guys are fighting, because it can be so like you're saying, like logical, like you're getting all your points out, and then you can kind of read it back, because sometimes I feel like when we're really in high emotion, we think we're getting our point across, but we're not, or we're just circling over like one thing when we really mean this thing over here. So like getting it out in an email where you can kind of see it all, it's not so like in a text bubble, is really helpful. And again, it takes away the emotion. Of course, like texting can be negative in that way
Yeah.
from day to day because it takes away the emotion. But like when you don't want the emotion there, it's super helpful.
I like that. That's a great idea. It's like journaling, like for
Mhm.
myself, like personally. Yeah. Like it helps you get all your thoughts on paper and understand your head. Yeah. What's going on in your mind more. Yeah. I agree.
Totally.
Okay. What does it look like when a mom fully owns her identity again?
Ooh, it looks like it's different for everybody, first of
Okay.
all. Like,
Yeah.
because yeah, like cycling was my modality. Like cycling was what I let my identity kind of morph into, but it could be anything. Like, and that's what I kind of like teach my moms is that like it could be running. Or it could not be running. It could be working out. It could be crochet. It could be
Mm,
just doing anything for yourself that like fills your cup. You can, because like not everyone's super athletic. Do I love getting your heart rate up? And like that's my modality, of course. But like if you're a creative, that's cool too. Like let's dive into that. You know what
mm,
I mean? I think it's just what it looks like is so dependent on the person, but it'll always just feel in alignment with who you are, with filling your cup, with like you should come out of like any sort of hobby or activity or whatever that like fills your identity, that fills your cup. You should feel filled. You should feel so electrified, so in alignment with who you are. And yeah, it can be anything. I mean, I love reading too. Like I love escaping into a book and then like I don't know, having
yeah.
that escapism, like, and that's great too. Like, you
Yes.
know, it can be anything. It really can.
Yeah, it sounds like too just like finding something you're super passionate about and like you really enjoy doing so that you're doing it for you. Like no one else. It's you. It's what you're passionate about, what brings you joy, what fills you. Because I think you're right. Like I think a lot of moms lose that and or don't have that once they become a mom because time or whether it's the energy, but why do you think this is so important for them to
Oh,
have?
it, okay. So like a little bit of story time, but
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I had a mom that I had been talking to, and she was like, "Well, I didn't have an identity before having kids. Like, I love that my identity is now my kids because I never had an identity." And
Oh,
I'm like, that's really interesting, and that almost hot take, but like I feel bad for you
yeah.
because because I would love to dive into that more with that mom
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like here's the thing is that like is it a generational thing? Like did your
Mm-hmm.
mom let her identity be her kids and then you learned that? Like I I guess it always just funnels back to like this is what I'd want for my girls. Like I want my girls to have an identity and they're going to learn that from me, you know? And I think so I think that's answering your question. But
Yeah,
like yeah, like I just it's so important because we have a duty to our kids, you know, and by having an identity, we are showing our kids that like you can have an identity. And whatever that looks like is whatever. But like
yeah.
I don't want to die one day or be on my deathbed being like I could have used or like I enjoyed my time with my kids, but like that was it. That was my identity. It was my kids. Like
Yeah.
I don't feel like we were put on this earth to to only to let that part of yourself die, I guess. You know?
Yeah. And one, it sounds like going back, like, because I mean, that's beautiful that that client or, mom, puts a lot of identity with her kids, but they're, they're going to grow up, right? They're going to get older. They're going to get
Right.
out of the house. And then
Right.
who, like, yes, you're still a mom, but you're back to it's just you and your husband at home, you know? And so that's why I think that's important to recognize of like, yeah, you do also need, um, like yeah, something that brings you home or like something that is driving you that fills like you said fills your cup because yeah they're gonna they're gonna start their own family one day maybe
Yeah.
or
Well, and like in hot take, if your kids see that like your identity is completely dependent on them, I almost
Yes.
wonder, like, does that give them pressure? Are you putting pressure on them that, like, oh, like, maybe I can't leave the nest, so to speak. Like, my mom needs me. My mom is so dependent on me for her happiness. You know, I wonder about that a little bit, because, like, yeah, I wonder if, like, and then I wonder if subconsciously too, the mom is not wanting those kids to, like, go away for university or something like that, because they've tied their identity and their happiness to their kids so much that, like, oh, I don't want them to go to Texas for university, because what will I do now? You know what I mean? And so, like, I really wonder about, like, kind of those other implications.
Totally.
I'm not a specialist, but I'm just
We're
listening,
just,
but
just observing, being aware of, like, I mean, no, I think you're exactly right. Like, and everyone, that's another thing too. Like, everyone does parent differently, or like how they, all those things. But I think there's something to be said about, like, going back to not relying on other people for your happiness.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that is like the one statement that could, like, blanket it all is just, yeah, absolutely.
Is there another, like, client story that you have in terms of, like, where mindset really changed everything for them? And also share more of, like, how you work, like, describe what you do. What do you do, Halley?
Oh, yeah. So, okay. So I'm kind of like a mom empowerment, mom mindset coach. And so I really work with moms to, it's fully customized to them, but the main points are nervous system regulation, hacking that routine, and then also just holding you accountability to stand in your greatest self, for you, for your family, for your kids. And that's kind of what I do at, like, the very base level. Again, it's fully customized to every mom, because every mom's identity is at different points when they meet me, and they want to be at different points when they end. And it looks different for everybody. I have a really beautiful mom who, she reminds me a lot of myself. And I love it, because I'm like, oh, I always tell her, I'm like, I see so much of myself in you. And which makes it honestly really easy because it's so much fun, because, like, she's really, really, changing. And I love her feedback of, like, oh, I feel so motivated today, or like, oh, I, like, I got on the bike, and, or not the bike, I ran, and, like, this and that. And it's really beautiful. And what I love is, like, this connection that I make with the moms. And it's like, oh, I had a really bad day. I, like, felt really overwhelmed. I just woke up in a bad mood. And it's like, okay, girl, like, let's talk about this. Like, are you going to let that ruin your whole day? And, like, or, like, hey, like, I didn't get done the schoolwork I needed to do, because she's, like, going back to school. And it's like, okay, not a big deal. Don't let it ruin the rest of your week. Like, where can we find some block of time later in the week to catch up and stuff like that. And, like, just helping them kind of work through the day to day, so that they can kind of be the best versions of themselves, take that mental load off. It's been so amazing. And I love, like, giving them these tools, like, okay, here's some mantras, read these, let me know how they land, like, and tell yourself these mantras every single day. And, like, and then they, like, come back to me in a week, and they're like, dude, I'm, like, coming into every conversation differently now with my kids, because, like, I keep coming back to this mantra, and, like, whatever. And I have another mom that's really connecting with her husband again. And that's such a huge pain point, I think, is that, like, just, you built this beautiful family together, and then you kind of feel so disconnected from them, and it's like, what the hell just happened? And so kind of reconnecting with your partner again through taking time for yourself and finding me time, and kind of cultivating this new person is, again, it kind of feels counterintuitive, because it's like, how am I going to help my relationships with my family and with my kids when I'm working on myself? It seems so selfish, but we need to rewrite that, because it is so healing for every relationship around you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful, though. And you are inspiring so many moms, and also, like, being such a great role model for that, especially because you lived it. Like you lived through, the postpartum depression at such a low point and finding your new identity and feeling like now being able to be like the mom that you've aspired to be, and like being able to show moms like this is possible. You can do it all. And to have like healthy boundaries and have a healthy mindset through it. And I love that. That's so awesome. Especially because it's hard. Like you said, like also the disconnecting feeling. I've heard that a lot, right? Like with their partner after they have kids, which is such a scary thing. Like that's one thing I'm like, oh my God, that would be so hard and so real. Like I think it's normal, like where people do feel that way. And because again, you're both overwhelmed, sleep deprived, not giving enough energy to yourself. Um, yeah, do you feel like that's a hard thing you keep seeing?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I think it just goes back to like kind of like this like disconnect with like your partner is that like you're kind of like playing chess and they're playing checkers sometimes and like you're really just like you're not even on the same page and you don't even know it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it just goes back to like communication and but yeah, that husband pain point, that's a very like visceral one. And I think that like I think also another facet is like that mental load. Like I
Hmm.
think moms just because we're like that default parent and we're having to do this like these 100 things and then your husband asks like what's for dinner and it's like you flip out. But
Yeah.
it's like you don't understand all the other things I had to do today or like just this like I think I had like made some comment or whatever about like I have 47 tabs open in my head and none of them are for me. Like that it's
Mhm.
so real. It's such a real thing. It's like I'm tracking all these things and now you just ask me what's for dinner. Like I'm gonna go postal on you. It's hard because they don't get it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? They just
Yeah.
they don't get it. And it's not their fault, but it is our responsibility to communicate that. You know what I
Hmm. Yeah. Communicate, fill your cup up first. So
mean?
cool. So, yeah, so important. Okay, let's
Yeah.
do some rapid fire. Do you like
Let's go.
morning workout or evening workout?
Oh, I'm so much more like productive in the morning for sure. Always
Okay,
morning.
love it. And then one word moms need to release.
Ooh, like release it like verbally, like just like
Yes, you could take it that way, or like, yeah, something you need to let go of, like, like a
ooh,
phrase or something that always, like comes up for you as a mom. Yeah.
perfectionism. That is that like release that. Those aesthetic mom videos, those
Yeah.
highlight reels that everyone's comparing themselves to. Like let go of all that bullshit. Like a highlight reel is a highlight reel because it's just the highlights. It's not the real stuff. Like
Mhm.
stop comparing yourself to somebody else's highlight reel and just live your life. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can have, you know, your kids' crayon drawings on the fridge and you can have a sink full of dishes and you can still be a great mom.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You guys have to follow. What's your Instagram? We'll have to put that in the show notes because Hallie, she has the best videos and it's so real. And like moms like that. Like we need real content and not this aesthetic pleasing like kitchen with, you know, everything well done. Like it's much more real when it's just messy and we can relate to that. Like,
My God, 100%. Truly, truly. It's like I have never purported to be a clean person. Like we're like just baseline, but
yes, I love it. Okay, one word moms need to reclaim.
ooh, their identity, of course.
Oh yeah. Duh. Duh. And then what's the favorite me time ritual for you?
Mm. I mean, I would say biking, but I'm not going to say that because that's boring compared to
But
like
getting on
what,
the bike, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But ooh, okay. Here's a hot take one, maybe. Is singing 2000s pop in the car, baby. Like
Oh, I like that. Like with your kids too? Or just okay.
like maybe like, maybe I'm like going and running groceries or
Yeah,
like whatever. It's like jam out to some like old school,
I
like
love it.
something I listened to in high school. Like that can be so good.
So good, so fun. I love seeing those videos where like moms are like when you listen to all the songs you used to party to or like whatever as a mom,
Yes,
and you're like cleaning in the kitchen.
100%. I was like, I don't know why it just like came into my head, but like I Want to Be Bad by Willa Ford. I was like, I
Oh
don't
yeah,
want to. Oh, I was jamming to that the other day. It was so
I
good.
love it. A belief about motherhood you've had to unlearn.
mm, that you have to do it all. Like that
Mm.
is something that I really had to let go. It's like there was a time where, yeah, I had to do the bottles. I had to put them down for a nap. I had to do this. Da, 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 da. Otherwise, everything was going to explode. And I had to really unlearn that. Like, it's okay for my husband to do it. It's okay for my mother in law to pick the girls up from school. And like, if it's not exactly how I like it done or whatever, that's
Mm.
okay because my kids are going to be fine in the end. And it allows me to fill my cup. Again, it kind of goes back to like what I said at the beginning. It takes a village. It takes a village to raise a family. It takes a village to raise a mom. You have to let those villagers in.
It's just so probably hard, right? Because you feel like that's a mom instinct that you're like, I have to do this, I have to do that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm so excited for this phase of my life. It's gonna be so. I'll have you.
Yeah, you'll always have me, girl.
Okay, then if a mom only remembers one thing from this episode, what should it be?
Follow me on Instagram. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, well that for sure. Number one.
Totally kidding. To really to fill your cup, girl. Fill your cup because choose yourself for your family. I know it's counterintuitive, but like if that's the only thing you take away from this episode, it's choose yourself for your kids.
Beautiful. How much time? Like, what is like? Give some examples besides like like for you it's bike, right? But like, what? How much time? When you tell your mom clients like they should be putting towards themselves, or like what that could look like, to give some
Oh,
ideas.
honestly, so I've coined this thing that I teach my moms on the inside of my program. Micro wins, because that's all you need. It's
Mm,
little wins throughout the day. You don't need to like go disappear for like 4 hours every day or something like that, or like a whole hour taking away from your family. You don't need that. You need micro wins. You need a routine and a life and habit stacking tools to then create little micro wins throughout the day where you're like, it's almost like you're pouring a little bit into your cup all the time. You know what I mean? And of course,
mm,
you can have like go get coffee with your girlfriends on a Saturday, or go take your lunch with your friends, or go on the bike and go train them. Like, do those big filling cup moments, but you don't need that. You can fill your cup in between with these little micro moments of filling your cup. And
yeah.
that can look like reading your book, or like something that I used to do that I think like helps every mom is like get the Kindle app on your phone, and then when you're breastfeeding you can read. And
Nice. Yeah.
like that is like my favorite. It's so low barrier. I know not everyone's a reader, but like it then that way like you can do it at night. You don't
Yeah.
have to have a light on, you know what I mean? Or an audiobook. Like put your
Yeah.
headphones in and stuff like that. Like there's just little ways to fill your cup throughout the day that you can still be present with your kids. You can still show up in the right way without having to like go like fuck off for an afternoon. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
It's so true. And it makes it that much more easier too, or like simplified where it's like you can do this daily in the
Mhm.
small ways rather than have it be like, oh, I have to wait till the weekend to finally have time for myself, you know?
Right, right. Because like that's the thing. It's like this overwhelm of having to like, okay, now I have to find an hour to like fill my cup. Like I don't have an hour. And it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
So
And it's so healthy, like as a mom, to also have, like you said, time with your friends or time, yeah, like having a village around you to support you because it can be, I'm sure, lonely too, or not lonely, but like hard to like
yeah.
be going through all of that. Um, and then best advice you've ever received as a mom from like someone else or,
Ooh. Best advice.
Like even I don't know if your mom ever said anything or like, a friend or yeah.
Ooh, my mom's given a lot of great like marriage advice. I'm trying to think of good pair. You know what? Well, okay.
It could be
Hmm.
either or. Yeah, whatever.
I'm trying to think. Like there's like a lot of good nuggets. I'm trying to
I'm putting you on the spot. Sorry.
I know. I should have thought of this. I think a really good piece of advice is like you don't have to have all the answers. You know, like again, I guess it kind of goes back to like the whole village
Hmm.
thing. But like there's resources that your mom's been through it. I think that that's a big thing is like we don't really appreciate how much our parents did until we are going through it, and then you end up leaning so much on your mom or whatever. And like I think that was really helpful is just like I don't have to have all the answers cuz like I
Yeah.
think that's another thing is like in postpartum it's like I think you're expected to like know how to breastfeed, to know what a baby's like. This is a hungry cry versus a tired cry, or like, how to like potty train your baby or, whatever, transition them to sleeping and whatever. There's so many things I can go on
Yeah.
forever. And you're supposed to like know it all, right? But like, you don't have to, you know what I mean? And like, there's resources and I know it can feel overwhelming, but like, lean on other people.
Lean on
So,
other people. I like
yeah.
it. I mean, you're so right. Like, there's so many resources now. And yeah, as a mom, it's your first time being a mom. Like, if you do have a first kid or something, or even the second kid, like, every kid's different too.
Oh yeah.
And just knowing that, like, you don't need to do it on your own.
No,
Yeah.
no, you don't have to do it on your own. And like, and you're right, every kid's different. Like that's the other thing too, is like, oh, like Charlie was really easy to potty train. It's like Vivian might not be. And it's like, okay, well, like, and what worked for her might not work for her. And like you have to be able to like understand that. And again, ebb and flow.
Yep. Yes, be flexible. Okay, last question. So, my signature question for every podcast I do with a guest, since my goal with this podcast, right, is to really help others overcome their fears and lean into growth in all aspects of their life. What have you done in your life that allowed you to experience tremendous growth but took getting out of your fears?
I mean, truly like it sounds like a lame just because we've been talking about it this whole time, but like
Yeah.
biking. You know what I mean? Like it really I'll never forget like the first start corral that I ever like for a race, like sitting with all these other bikers, and I'm like, man, like they know what they're doing. They look all
Yeah.
kitted out, and I'm just like, hi.
I
And
am here.
I literally was so nervous that like I was going to run into somebody in the start because it's just like a start bay.
Yes.
Everyone's just crammed in there, and you're scooting up
Scary.
like closer and closer to the start line, and it's like I am so I'm gonna knock someone over. I'm gonna be in a crash. Like I'm gonna be a meme. Like what it's like that is so terrifying. It was my biggest fear. And I was like, I don't know if racing's cut out for me because there's a start bay or a start corral at every race. You know what I mean? Um, but then you get on that bike, that horn beats, and you just start biking, and it's like all those fears go away, and you just realize that like a lot of your fear is just in your head. You know what I mean? And like even if you do fall, whatever, get back up. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Um, and just overcoming that. And like I really feel like the only way out is through. Like there is no giving up. You're not taking your bike out of the start corral and like saying like screw this.
Yes. That's
You
true.
have the only way out is literally through. And that's how I overcome fear. That's the fear that I have. And now I truly my favorite part is the start corral. I
Oh,
love standing in
really?
the start corral, chatting with the other bikers, like, how long have you been biking? Where are you from? Like da 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 da. Like, and it helps me like release my nerves too. Like it's
True.
kind of like I listen to a lot of like public speaking podcasts, and like that's the one thing they say is like before they go on stage they really like to talk to
Yeah.
everybody and kind of get those like vocal cords and like your chest open and stuff. And like I do that like in the start corral now. I've turned it from a
Amazing.
fear to like my favorite part, not my favorite part, but
Yeah.
like one of.
One of. That's amazing. I could see how that would be scary though. Yeah, well, like your first time and you're like crammed in there. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna run into someone. Um, but yeah, then it's practice, like with anything. And that's why I love this question because everyone has a different, we've all gone through it and there's still going to be things that scare the crap out of us through, like no matter what,
Yeah.
there's always like the next level, like we talked about in the beginning too, like you're going to the next level. But that's how you get stronger mentally, physically, and grow into a better mom, better person, from living through that. So that's so
Oh,
cool.
absolutely. I mean, like, I think what I always tell my moms too is like, if you're uncomfy, that's good because like humans are biologically wired to like to solve for comfort. And
Hmm.
like that means like not growing because growth is uncomfortable. So like just yes, it's gonna feel uncomfy, but that's growth, baby. That's good. Like
Yes.
embrace it.
We need that. Yes,
Yeah.
so amazing. This one's so fun. Okay, Hallie, where can they find you? Where can listeners find you to work with you? Tell them about your program. And then, yeah, like what kind of mom you would love to support right now.
All the moms. All
All
the
the
moms.
moms.
It is my mission to like help all the moms no matter what stage you're in. The postpartum mommy is like closest to my heart, but I think any mom can really benefit from routine hacking and habit stacking and like all these great things, great mindset to be the best role model for yourself and for your kids. So yeah, that's who I love to help. You can find me at on Instagram at hallie.themomcoach and find me there. I think that's my biggest platform. And I look forward to working with all the moms. Oh, and I suppose like that's like my program. I do one-on-one coaching at the moment, and I am taking clients currently. And it's a 12-week program. We work on like kind of the three pillars that I mentioned earlier of just like mindset, routine, and accountability. And I work with you where you're at and where you want to be. And by the end of it, you'll feel like a whole new woman who can conquer anything.
Oh, so amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. And you guys, please, 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 if you're a mom, you have to follow her, even if, like, just to get that empowerment and inspiration in your life and also real moments. Like, she will share real moments that she's going through and, like, mindset tricks and routine hacking. So definitely follow her. And also, really consider if you are, like, struggling right now as a mom and have just been dragging, feeling overwhelmed, overstimulated, and just burnt out, and like you really need accountability. Because that's what's so awesome about having a coach. It's like
Yeah.
they're there with you through every step of the process of transforming into a better version of yourself as a mom, filling your cup up, and having that support. Because that's what's needed, right? Like if you're a mom that's so busy, it's so hard to also keep that discipline and like accountability with yourself because like, oh, nope, now we have to run a game or now we have to do this. And so, definitely consider her program. It would help you so, so much. 12 weeks long. Find her on Instagram. I'll put all of that in the show notes. But Hallie, this has been so fun. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This was so much fun.
Yay. I love it. Now I know little tips and tricks too when I become a mom someday.
Yes, absolutely. And there's more to come. I'll
Yes.
help you with it all, girl.
I love it. Yay. Thank you. Thank you.